All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and I thought you guys would be tired of me making tier list videos by now, but apparently that is not the case because I had a lot of you guys hitting me up asking me to do a uniform tier list, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. Now, generally for these, I would try to narrow it down to the top, I would say 25 or 30 most useful uniforms in the game. But as you can see, we have over 500 uniforms. And the landscape of Future Fight this year is a little bit, I want to say, a lot different than last year or the previous years, because PvP is slowly becoming equally as rewarding as PvE. For example, they just buffed the rewards again for Alliance Conquest, making it so that when you open the box, you can get, like what I got anyways, close to 500 Soul of the Faltine, Carbonadium, or Life Seed. That is really, really good. I got exactly 450. I want to see if that's the maximum you can get, so let me know in the comment section. But that is actually really good. That's comparable to what you actually get from Alliance Battle. Keep in mind, you can play Extreme Alliance Battle and Legend 8 times per week if you do the double on Thursday with the reset, right? And when you open the box from scoring over 12 million, you get 50 Life Seed randomly, 50 what's it called, Soul of the Faltine, or 50 Carbonadium, one of the three, right? So add that up, you get 400 for the week. That's pretty comparable to what you get for AC. Now you still requires less time to play Extreme Alliance Battle unless you have to rerun a bunch of times. But the point is, with Team Battle Arena now and AC being, I would say, pretty rewarding, I wanted to actually include them in the tier list this time around. But do not be overwhelmed, okay? There's a lot of different uniforms in here, but I have them situated in different categories for a reason. So if you're coming back to the game and you want to buy the best uniforms that's going to basically enhance your gameplay experience to the moon and back, so you have the most fun possible, the least struggle possible, this top row right here, the must buy, these are some of the uniforms that you should consider buying first. Okay, you have Null. He's going to be absolutely amazing for PvE and PvP. You put him with a CTP of Rage, and he's going to blitz Giant Boss Raid, World Boss, zombies, everything. And you can still at the same time use him for PvP because he has the Undead artifact proc built in to his core being. Okay, then we have somebody like Wolverine. He can use pretty much any CTP for PvE content. He's so easy to play, so strong right now. And if you pick up his artifact, which you can get a 3-star version of it for 300 crystals if that's the route you want to take, then you can still use him for PvP with any CTP. He's amazing, okay? And that's part of the reason why I put him ahead of Doctor Strange. Truthfully speaking, Doctor Strange is stronger than Wolverine for PvE content, but these two are just way more versatile. Doctor Strange has almost no PvP value, so because of that I put him in the third spot. And Sentry has almost no PvE potential, so I put him behind Doctor Strange. But you could literally do something like this, right? And then honestly, Adam Warlock, he's good for PvE, but he's amazing for PvP. So it's up to you guys how you want to. Basically, you could pick up 4 or 5 of these guys, and your gameplay experience is gonna be completely changed. Okay, I know Ghost Rider is seasonal, but hey, if you want to buy the seasonal uniform ticket and use it on Ghost Rider, he's very, very good. It's not the seasonal uniform ticket is not necessarily worth purchasing, especially for a uniform that costs crystals. But if you're coming back and you want to have fun, because at the end of the day, who's to say you're going to still be playing 6-7 months from now? Do you want to spend the money? It's really up to you, right? But point is, I would say these right now are the must-buy uniforms. They're all of them are meta for either PvE or PvP. And then we have the ABX/ABL meta. I would say all of these are worth considering. Paywall, paywall, but we have some free to play options in here. And then I made sure to include a free to play savior tier to give you alternatives to the paywall cash seasonals. For example, Luna Snow being the best human speed female character for ABX/ABL. You can use Gamora to get a score not as high as hers, but something respectable. You can also use Gwen, and then for Gambit, you can use Cable. However, for Psylocke, that's a tough task because there's only Rogue and Storm. That day is still locked behind Cash. You'd have to use like Polaris or something, but yeah, some days currently, I think the Mutant Day is the only one that's really locked behind Cash. But I wanted to give you guys some free to play options as well. Like for example, I have Cyclops on here, and he's only on here because of the fact that if you're coming back right now, you just missed the free copy that they gave away for Leader, and we only have two good Blast villain supports available right now. Mysterio being one, and he's seasonal, and then Leader being another, and he's paywall. So I wanted to give you guys an option in Cyclops. Not the greatest support, but he's better than nothing. And then I put his hero uniform on here because again, low tier support, better than nothing. However, these right here are the meta supports, so you want to choose from this list first, and then if you want to, you can go from this list right here. These guys are primarily AC, right? You put him with Doom, and then you put him with like Thanos or something, and you have a solid PvP team. These guys, honestly, they're good, but just not as good as the ones up here. They're not used as often. Like pretty much everybody in this row here gets used for ABX and ABL to some degree. Agent Venom, however, he's more of like a world boss with your Venom, or timeline battle with your Null/Carnage. Okay, now this role right here, honestly, I decided to create it because these characters are very strong. They're not meta anymore anyways. He used to be meta, he used to be meta, he used to be meta, right? But honestly, they're very, very powerful, very fun to play, very easy to play for the most part. So I didn't want to leave them out, even though there's absolutely nothing in the game. Well, Rogue is the best dispatch farmer, but for the rest of them, there's absolutely nothing that you're gonna need them for specifically, but they will or can enhance your gameplay experience. So if they're one of your favorite characters, I think they're definitely worth considering. Odin is very, honestly, man, very expensive to build because he's a tier 2 native. To unlock him costs crystals, and then his uniform is expensive as well. Like, he's one of the ones that I really doubted putting on here because Thor is just him but better. But if you like Odin, he's not a terrible character. Okay, then we have the AC category, and as you can see right here, I say team 2. Okay, team 2. This means you put them as your second string. They're not good enough for Otherworld battle, and they're not necessarily the best for the front end, the first team. Unless you're using a weak team and these guys, you're up against a weak team and these guys revive and, do that wacky shit and then kill them that way. But these guys are, I would say, your second string. And I decided to make this little group here because I see people asking for AC characters. All of these guys are viable for AC. Some of them, like for example, Sabretooth needs the artifact. I'm not telling you to go out and buy these uniforms if you don't care about AC, and if you don't already have these guys up here, these guys up here, these guys in here. Okay, if you have all of the characters that you need for PvE and for timeline battle / Otherworld battle, and you then want to start playing AC and flush out your roster a little bit, these guys are ones to consider. Okay, now down here, replacement coming soon. This is very, very important. Okay, I'm trying to go through this as quickly as possible. That's why I assembled the tier list prematurely before I even started the video. New uniform coming for Silver Surfer. If you have not bought this uniform yet, do not buy it. Same goes for Reed, same goes for Invisible Woman. the Thing, and Human Torch. If there was no uniform coming for Human Torch, he would be in this category. If there was no uniform coming for Thing, he wouldn't even be on this list because I never use him to buff the Fantastic Four. For PvE, if I was gonna use Mr. Fantastic, I would put him with like White Fox and maybe like Valkyrie, right? They're just way better supports. And for PvP, I use Invisible Woman with other people who are just way better than the Thing. Like he's honestly kind of like War Tiger, just the odd man out. These 4-man group that they create are just kind of worthless. Well, not necessarily worthless. They always have one member that's worthless, and in this case, it's the Thing. Okay, and also next week we're gonna be getting this uniform for Winter Soldier, this uniform for Taskmaster, and this uniform for Ghost. If there was no uniform coming for Ghost, Ghost would be like in low tier support with Cyclops. But truthfully speaking, I wouldn't even put her on this list because she's not as versatile as Cyclops. Okay, Taskmaster would, however, be in the meta support category. I'm hoping that they keep Taskmaster as a support, maybe make him or her, whichever one, a little bit better as a standalone character. But hopefully, they keep her as a support. And then besides that, Bucky, it'll be interesting to see if they transform him back into being a speed character as opposed to being a combat right now. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about for the Fantastic Four, if you haven't been keeping up with Marvel, can't blame you. They've been on a terrible run as of late. But as you can see, Fantastic Four First Steps coming out July 25 or July 25th, 2025. Same shit, right? And then this is the cast right here. Sue Storm, Mr. Fantastic, Johnny. We got the Thing, and we've got Galactus. Will Galactus be finally playable? Who knows? But then we have Silver Surfer becoming a female. Be interesting to see if he's a hero, villain, or if he's still good for PvP or PvE. But either way, that's why Silver Surfer is down here. I'm sure when you guys looked at this tier list initially, you're like, whoa, Silver Surfer is missing. He's only missing because there's a uniform possibly coming with the Fantastic Four movie. If there's no uniform that drops with that update, then he would be up here in like the top 4 situation, right in front of like Doctor Strange or something like that, because he's really good for PvP. Anyways, ladies and gents, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. I think this encapsulates exactly the current state of the game. I think these guys are really good for your team too. And these guys are probably the most fun characters that I have right now for World Boss, in addition to Ghost Rider and Thanos. Like honestly, I have so much fun using and Kingpin. I have a lot of fun using these guys, honestly.